Everybody thinks that I have almost no chance of winning, right? Well, let's keep it real. Everybody knows that, right? They're like, oh, your name is funny.
You do have no chance of winning.
You're an outsider, et cetera, right? If I get to 20 or 25, panic sets in. There's no question panic sets in because there's two things that happen there. One, the other candidates go,
whoa. Does he really think he's going to get to 20, 25% in the polling? That's absolutely delusional. He couldn't even win a congressional race. I want to issue this disclaimer. If there is ever the possibility that the Young Turks would hire me to work in any capacity at their organization, please disregard what I'm getting ready to say. I did not mean it, and I really like you, Cenk, and think you've done a fantastic job for the progressive movement. Having said that, Cenk Uygur is announcing his run for president in 2024.
Questions. What I want you to explain is the logic behind what you're doing, right? Because it seems as though you think running is going to spark something in other potential candidates. So explain what the logic is.
Great question. So first of all, when it comes to the issue of me being a naturalized citizen, which I know we're going to get to later, if it wasn't for that, there would be no obstacles to begin with. There should be a progressive in this race. There should have been one for a long time.
West.
Williamson has been in there, but unfortunately she hasn't broken through. I have nothing but respect for her courage and her policies, etc. But at this point, we're not at progressives versus establishment. We're at 4 months left. And things must change, otherwise we're almost definitely going to lose to Trump.
What do you mean when you say 4 months left? I know what you mean, but explain it to the audience.
So Iowa, South Carolina primaries, caucuses, etc., starting in about 4 months. So in fact, the Nevada ballot deadline is on October 16th. So it's in a couple of days. That forces us to go now, right? And so first of all, if Joe Biden drops out, everything is possible. Everything is possible. All the other candidates
ain't happening.
Governor Whitmer, Governor Shapiro, you name it. They will all come in and we'll have a real primary, which we should have had from day one. By the way, when we don't do primaries, Republicans get their message out in their primaries is constantly talking about Republican X or Republican Y. Democrats have gotten none of their message out. We need a real strong primary. So my job is to be basically Paul Revere.
I agree with him on that.
Biden's gonna lose, Biden's gonna lose. We gotta go now. We have to change that dynamic. So I'm gonna, pressure Biden to get out of the race. So if he leaves now, he's a hero. He did something incredibly magnanimous. He beat Trump last time. He was a good steward of the economy. So he retires a hero. But if he stays in, I'm gonna explain to people that he's the villain. And if he loses to Trump, if I'm wrong and he beats Trump, then great. Then my apologies to Joe Biden. But that's not gonna happen, and we all know that's not gonna happen. So the idea is to create enough pressure on Biden. And here's how you get the pressure. One of the ways you get the pressure is everybody thinks that I have almost no chance of winning, right? Well, let's keep it real. Everybody knows that, right? They're like, oh, your name is funny.
You do have no chance of winning.
You're an outsider, et cetera, right? If I get to 20 or 25, panic sets in. There's no question panic sets in because there's two things that happen there. One, the other candidates go,
whoa. Does he really think he's going to get to 20, 25% in the polling? That's absolutely fucking delusional. He couldn't even win a congressional race. Like, what the fuck?
Biden is enormously weak, right? Number two is Biden begins to realize the handwriting's on the wall. If this Cenk Uygur, who he probably can't pronounce, has gotten to 25. The handwriting's on the wall. He's gotta go. And by the way, Anna, the reason why this is realistic is because there are a lot of people in Washington, inside the establishment, that are trying to get Joe Biden to drop out. We need to help them. We need to create that pressure.
Okay, let me jump in. You have publicly Bill Maher, James Carville, behind the scenes, other members of the Democratic Party urging Biden to drop out, saying that this is a massive risk that will likely get Donald Trump reelected again. Why do you think that you would be an effective voice in dissuading Biden from running again?
Yeah, there's two things about that in it. So number one, why aren't they in the race? So look, you can say, well, what do you mean? Why should Bill Maher go in the race? Of course, James
Carville? What?
Yeah, but guys, just talking about it isn't getting anything done. So you need to actually have someone in the race that is actively pushing him out and saying, so like these polite beseeching of Joe Biden isn't working. And yes, we've got to crank up the dial. And so one of the ways you do that is you have a real candidate who actually makes a real run at him. And when you make a real run at him, that's going to create an enormous amount of pressure.
You're not going to make a run at him.
Sitting there as time runs out in Washington, D.C. Now, you're getting to an important point here. And I know some people are nervous. Well, I mean, if Joe Biden only has a 10% chance of winning, and Cenk, you criticize him, does that come down to 9% or 8%? What difference does it make? He's going to lose. 10% isn't enough to win. He's massively behind. He's massively behind, okay?
Where is he pulling these numbers from? This is some real Scott Steiner math here.
You take your 33 and a third chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 and a third chance of winning.
If I garner 25% and Joe Biden has a 10% chance of losing, you got a 33 and 2/3% chance. The fuck?
So instead, what the point of turning up the pressure is if you lose to Trump, it is going to be on the record. We warned you, I warned you. I came in the race in a crazy attempt to make a difference because we're on a collision course with fascism. And if Joe Biden says, yes, I am that selfish. Yes, I don't care about you guys. I don't care if democracy's on the line. I don't care if I'm 80, I don't care if I'm 180. My legacy and my ego is more important than anything else in the world. So I will stay here and try to get a 2-term president because 2 terms is better than 1 term. And guys, and if you're in the press or you're out there as a voter, you all know that's what he's thinking. You all know that, right? You know that it's all about his ego and it is intensely selfish.
I honestly don't believe that. I actually believe that Joe Biden probably thinks he has the best shot of beating Trump. Genuinely. I don't think it's about his ego. And I'm no fan of Joe Biden, so like, it's wild. It's wild for Cenk to be talking about this, about Joe Biden's doing it for his ego. Joe Biden's the one doing it for his ego, eh?
And I'm going to say that 2,000 times on every show until he gets it through his thick head. Stop being selfish. Democracy is actually on the line. JustinFREAKIN.com.
You, in a recent interview with the Sitch and Adams show, you had described your congressional run for California's 25th district as the worst experience.
Good job, Anna. Good question.
In that election, you received 6.6% of the vote.
I haven't said that phrase in a while.
The worst experience of my life. What makes you think that anything would be different this time around? Given the way the media.
So listen to that again. He got 6% of the vote in a congressional race in California. But he thinks he's going to garner 25% of the vote in a national race against Joe Biden. I'm flabbergasted here.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Tones, good evening. So glad to see you, my friend.
Treated you, given the stunts that the Democratic Party pulled against you, in order for your plan here to work, you just said it. If you start seeing support for you, 20 to 25% of the vote, that seems like you got that support, then maybe there'll be actual pressure for Biden to step down and not seek re-election. But what makes you think you're going to get anywhere near that, considering what you've already experienced with the media's treatment of you?
Great question.
Yeah. So I'm under no delusion that mainstream.
She had to couch it with in the media's treatment of you, and she has a point there. But like, wow.
Media is going to be all of a sudden, oh, Cenk Uygur, we've changed our minds.
No, they're going to be vicious.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, I know how mainstream media works, and I said it today in another interview. They will lie, they will smear me. There's no question. That's what they do to every person.
Also, at this point, isn't TYT mainstream media? Let's be real.
And if you're in mainstream media and you're pretending that you're not biased against progressives, that is hilarious. And then you will make that pretense in the middle of an article where you attack me. Go ahead, you know you're going to. There isn't going to be one positive article about it, right? But hey, I'm also trying to get your beloved Whitmers and Newsoms, et cetera, into the race.
Don't say Newsom.
Okay, I know that you're not in favor of it, but that's a different conversation. So I don't think that the mainstream media is going to be any different. No, there's two things that are different, Anna. One is, I'm not the only one who thinks Joe Biden needs to get out of the race and we need to have a real primary. Tons of people.
I agree with that.
72% of Democratic voters want it. And Democratic Party, what is wrong with you? That you ignore 72% of your voters who scream, give us another candidate. So if you didn't want me in the race, well, then you should have given him another candidate, okay? And if you didn't give him that, you got me instead. So deal with it. Now, in terms of why it's different in terms of being able to break through. In the congressional run, we couldn't break through. Why not? Because they smeared me. And by the way, if I read the LA Times article and I was a voter in the 25th congressional district and I heard nothing else about me, I would have voted against me. Because the lies and the smears in there were unreal. I mean, they said I was anti-Muslim. I wouldn't vote for a guy who's anti-Muslim. They didn't tell people that I'm actually Muslim, that my background's Muslim, right, et cetera. So, but this time, it's a little bit different media dynamic. So now we have a great number of online shows. We have more liberal outlets, conservative outlets, independent outlets, like you name it. We've got every kind of outlet there is in online, in radio. I've been on black radio. I'm going to go back onto black radio.
He's got black friends, guys.
Every kind of outlet that will have me on, and my guess is a lot of outlets will have me on. In the old days, mainstream media can freeze you out, right? And then you're done for. They smear you, oh, this guy's anti-Muslim, and they anti this, anti that, and then you never get your voice out. Well, now, look, guys, here, I'm going to keep it real. When an online show has me on, the views are going to go up because people are interested in it. And so if maybe the entire internet will say, no, we're not interested in views. No, we're not interested in Cenk. We're not interested in another choice. Biden's got it. Biden's on cruise control here. He's definitely going to win. My guess is a lot of shows, wherever they are on the political spectrum, are going to go, oh, okay, there's a fight, okay? And now there's a real challenge. And look, one of my advantages is I am loud. And so that is sometimes a disadvantage. But in this case, someone's got to scream from the rooftops. Biden's going to lose. Biden's going to lose. We've got to get another candidate. But the advantage I have is, yes, I'm loud. I'm a warrior, and I will make this case. Not only the case that Biden's got to go, but our case. So even though this is not progressive versus establishment, and I will take any candidate, myself or others, that is going to beat Trump. Yes, but our policies are more popular, and I'm not afraid to say it. And so you almost never hear someone forcefully making the argument. Why haven't they done paid family leave? 84%. Republicans wanted, Democrats wanted paid family leave. Give moms 12 weeks off.
Welcome back to TYT. We're interviewing Cenk Uygur, who's
We're interviewing Cenk Uygur, the host of the show that you're watching. Oh, yeah, that's enough of that. Wow. Well, that's a thing. Let's go back to the real world.